Good morning again. Welcome everyone, and thank you for making the time. My name is Lakwin from Boxman Global, and I will be your starting person today for the webinar. So before we get into the agenda, I just want to do one quick thing because a webinar where only one or two person will talk and there will be some slides, so I want you guys to engage as well. We have the chat section and we have the Q&A section. Drop any questions, use the chat. So we'll start with one thing. Drop one word in the chat, the single biggest thing that was on your plate this week. So we are almost into the weekend. So just one word, maybe, I don't know, dead leaders. It can be course, maybe coffee, the perfect and honesty. That last one might be the most accurate answer on this call. Okay, so without further ado, again, thank you everyone. So we are going to talk about MPCI, what it means for your next shipment, next sea freight shipment. So we have our great panelists today, Mr. Sajid and Deepak from Boxman. They are the best in this subject. So without me wasting your time, I will hand it over to Sajid. So Sajid, over to you.
Thank you, Lakwin. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this session. When it comes to compliance and getting things right, I think we all have to make it as our top priority, and that's why we have gathered together this morning to ensure that we are compliant when it comes to the new, I would say not initiative, but requirement to comply with the inbound cargo coming into the UAE. So, before we get more into details, I hope everybody is familiar with the term MPCI, which means Maritime Pre-Cargo Information, and why this is important. Okay, so let's establish that upfront before we go into the details and understand what it is and how we go about it. So, why did we call for this session and what is exactly MPCI? Beginning September 1st, all the cargo that are bound for UAE are subject to be reported or to be filed. Uh, if it is not, it will not be loaded. And there are consequences that the importers will have to bear because of any failure in this particular requirement. So this particular requirement was supposed to be implemented earlier this year. However, there has been delays in implementing it, and now, as we all know, September 1st is the implementation date. You may get different information from the liners. For example, Maersk would say it would be only by 30th of September and so on. However, we are being more proactive and responsible, and we are going to initiate and implement this from 1st September itself and ensure that we meet the compliance that's required for as part of this MPCI initiative. So why it exists or why it is required, Um, so first of all, it is in the best interest of all of us. It is in the best interest of the country. It is in the best interest of the market, the businesses that operates in the country, the brands that operates in the country. So it is to facilitate legitimate trade. It is to avoid any obstruction, any non-compliance, any counterfeit product, and so on. Anything that is basically, let's say, can be done to control or to stop any illegitimate trade is the main objective of this. Um, it's also to do with the security and the safety of the cargo, of the people involved in this. And hence, it's important that this particular step is enforced and implemented 100%. However, it may sound something that is needed or complicated, but it is not. It's a very simple process, and you're going to see that in a bit. Deepak is going to take us through the process. But just let me make you feel comfortable by saying that it already exists today for air freight shipments. The air cargo that's coming into UAE, we're already following a similar process of filing at the origin. So in simple words, it's nothing but a manifest that is being submitted to share the cargo information with the relevant authority. So it already exists for air cargo, and most of you who are on the call are into logistics. You have been importing from different countries into UAE, and I'm sure you have done a lot of air freight shipment, but never you have come across this particular requirement because it's so seamless and smooth happening in the background. Similarly, once this particular MPCI is implemented effective September 1st, you will not really feel it. It's very smooth and it will be very seamless. And that's our intention and objective also, to make it extremely smooth for all our partners. So, and just to add to it, this particular process for container freight or cargo sea freight is already existing in the US, in a lot of countries in Europe and Asia as well. So it's not new for the world, but it's new for the Middle East or new for UAE. And UAE being one of the countries who are highly compliant and keeps the compliance and safety security as a top priority. UAE is one of the pioneer country to implement this in this region. So in simple words, also just to add why it is there is just to assess the cargo to ensure that it's all in place and safe, and to protect the interest, like I said, of the businesses. As Boxman, our commitment is that we will take care of this particular task or this particular requirement, and we were sharing this information with all of you on the call who are involved in the shipping process, so that you're aware in case of any let's say unfortunate or situation where the cargoes are delayed because of the information that is required, and what information is required will be shared with you shortly. I just wanted to assure you also that if we are already following the basic and the the requirement that's there for shipping, it is we don't need to really worry about it. Also, another thing, we should not get confused with between this and the customs process. These are two separate process. MPCI has nothing to do with customs. So, although customs, let's say Dubai customs or UAE, the federal customs are responsible for the cargo that's arriving into the UAE for clearance and ensuring that the declarations are done correctly. This process is about loading the cargo onto the vessel and arriving into UAE. So this process stops any illegitimate cargo at the origin itself, and that's the intention. Whereas customs role starts only once it is in transit or it is arrived here. But this particular process is to kind of stop anything at the origin and not even move it forward. And that's the basic difference, or in a simple words, if I put it. All right. So to understand it further, how this is going to be done, how the process will work, what will be your role, what will be Boxman role. I have Deepak Khan, who will take us through the process in a very simplified manner to ensure that we have good understanding about this. And again, I would just pass on to Deepak by saying that this is going to be extremely smooth, and we will do everything to support this initiative. Uh, and protect all the parties involved in this process. So thank you, and thank you for listening and participating in today's webinar. Over to you, Deepak.
So thank you, Sajid, and good morning to everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So, like rightly said by Sajid, this is an important for all the inbound shipment. As we have just seen in the previous slide, covered the background and overall implementation of MPCI. I'll take a moment to take through what MPCI actually is, how it works, more importantly, what it means for all of us. So MPCI, Maritime Preload Cargo Information, is an advanced electronic manifest system introduced in UAE, managed by NAIC, that is National Advanced Information Center, and it applies to all the containerized maritime shipment. It covers FCL and LCL. So all the shipment which are coming to UAE need to be reported by the UAE Federal Authority. They need to check what is coming inside the UAE, and this is important. and it will be implemented from 1st of September. So just imagine what will happen if the information is not correct. If the information isn't correct, the container will not be loaded. It's so simple. So it's important we need to update our shippers to update the information provided by the at the origin. It's need to be correct, and it covers FCL as well as LCL. By the way, it is exclusive for bulk cargo, liquid, and Roro shipment. Other than that, all the LCL and FCL are mandatory to submit the MPCI, and it's without the MPCI, the container will not be loaded and you will not get the shipment. So in and they are responses in NACI, that is ACT, which is accepted to approve, and one is DNL, that is do not load. So when we submit the approval to MPCI, these are the responses which we get. I'll talk that in the further. So if the information is not correct, you have to pay extra. Extra, I mean, see, these are the extra thing you need to pay extra. This is something serious, especially now when the things are not going smooth in the maritime. You know the situation currently in the Middle East. Situation is not good, especially in terms of maritime when the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So we need to update our shippers to provide the details at the time of origin. It should be correct so that the transit and the logistic will be smooth. So what will happen if you will be not the data will be shared properly? Then you need to wait for the next vessel, and it typically takes 7 to 14 days. If the vessel will be missed, obviously you have to pay extra. And just give it a thought, like if the shipment is super urgent and you have a very tight budget and the shipment was given a red signal by NACI, you have to pay extra. You have to pay for the rebooking cost. You have to pay for the storage charges, and delivery commitments will be missed. Imagine you have told your customer that the shipment will be arriving after 45 days and it will not arrive after 45 days. You will be missed on your delivery commitment, and that will be implicated to your final delivery commitments. Let's move on to the next slide. We'll talk about what is not changing. So I would like everyone to just keep calm and relax, because MPCI is the change for security purpose. That's it. Nothing else gonna change. So for example, PLACI in air freight, like Sajid mentioned, it's already happening in UAE for air freight shipment. So this is a new thing which is coming up in maritime for all the sea cargo, MPCI. So we don't have to worry. Nothing will change. The duty remains same. You don't have to register anywhere. No changes in terms of commercial cargo. You don't have to register anything. It's just your shipper need to provide the information at the time of handing over the cargo to your agent or to your partner. That's it. That is the only change. Rest remain the same. So who does what, and whose involvement will be there? Let's move on to the next slide. So in this slide, we're going to talk about your involvement and your responsibility. So in the left, you can see the shipping line. Middle, it's Boxman, and it writes it's you. So writes you, I mean the consignee or the importer. So shipping line files the master document at the time of loading, so your involvement is not required. In the middle, it's Boxman, Boxman as in our partners, our agents. So involvement is nothing. We will not be involved. It's you, because you have to pass on the accurate details to the origin team so that at the time of filing, these details will be filed to the MPCI, the UAE federal authorities. I will talk about how the filing process works. Let's move to the filing process flow. So this is how the filing process flows. On the right hand side is shippers or the consignee. In the middle, who files the MPCI and who assess the CIA is on the right hand side. So shipper is the one who will submit the details to the partner at the time of collection of the cargo, and that bill of lading data will be shared by UA authorities. By UA authorities, I mean the MPCI system. So once they file the MPCI documents to them, then the MPCI will assess the documents and assess the information is correct or not. And then after that, there will be an assessment result. By the way, this will be a real-time data. It will be directly submitted by the MPCI to the shipping authority in the at the origin. And once it will be green light, then we will be loading the cargo. Otherwise, your cargo will not be loaded. So it's simple. Shipper need to provide the accurate details to the partner. Partner will file the bill of lading to the UA authorities. Once UA authority will give the details to the partner, the container will be loaded. Simple. Let's move on to the next slide. What Boxman has already done. By the way, we guys are ahead of the time, and Boxman always follows what already been done. So we have a partnership in place with shipping line, that is Maersk, CMA, CGM, Hapag-Lloyd. We have already done the test runs with them, and it's live and running now. So we have an example I will be sharing in the next slide. So this is a live like example which has been approved by MPCI on 8th of July. So this is a real example of one of our consignee. So you can see in the green dots, it's showing it's approved at the load of origin. So in terms of the details, customer has to only provide the packing list and the commercial invoice with the correct HSN code and the correct commodity with the full description. Description is the mandatory thing in this MPCI thing. If you will not provide the description, the there are high chances that it will not be approved. I'll talk about the description in the coming further slides. So as you can see that it's showing in the green, it means it's approved by the UAE authorities. Now we have the green light, we can load this cargo. But if the assessment will be failed, then the cargo container will not be loaded, and then you have to provide the documentation again. I will also talk about in how much time frame you need to provide the documentation so that you will not miss on the sailing time. So what we need from you? Simple. We just need the shipment details earlier and make sure the details are accurate. And the timeline is 48 hours. That's it. Before the loading of the vessel, we need the documents to be shared with us with the shipping line in 48 hours. Earlier, we have leverage that you guys can share the documents, the customer can share the documents, but now it's important that the importer or the shipper has to share the documents prior 48 hours so that we have to file the MPCI and we will get the green light from MPCI to load the cargo. So let's have a quick quiz. I'll ask a question about one description and you have to select the correct one. I will require Laquin's help in this. So Laquin, over to you. So this is like, would this good description be accepted? A is electronics, B is said to contain, and three is mobile telephones. So you have 60 seconds. I would ask everybody to please participate, and then we can see. The time starts now. I would repeat the question again. Would this goods description be accepted? A is electronics, B is said to contain, and C is mobile phones. Yeah, I'm getting the responses. The poll is live. So we are getting the responses. Now let's go to the correct one. So the correct one is mobile telephones. Why this is mandatory? So if you are mentioning the general cargo in the packing list or in the BL, it's not accepted. So these are the, on the left hand side, you can see the goods description which are accepted, not accepted. On the right hand side, it's accepted. So let's example, generally we have a habit of providing the, goods as general cargo, said to contain, nuts, machinery, consolidated. So if you are still providing these kind of goods descriptions, it will not be loaded. We have to bifurcate the good description in a broader way, like chemicals. There are hazardous chemicals, there are lithium, ethanol. All these chemicals needs to be provided the description in a full, because chemicals can be anything, electronics can be anything, general cargo can be anything. So we need to specify what exactly the commodity is. Like on the right hand side, you can see aluminum potassium sulfate. This is a full-fledged goods description which need to be provided at the time of collection. So let's move on to the next thing, which is mandatory now, party details. So we have a habit like on in terms of party detail, we try to submit to be decided later on. Once the cargo will be arrived at the destination, we said it will be to be decided, to be advised, unknown, and especially the PO box. We as a customer, as an importer, we do not reveal the PO box because we just provide the company name. But from now, it will not be taken care easily. We have to provide the PO box. It's mandatory now. So what is accepted? Full legal company name, shipper and the consignee, complete street address for both, a real-time contact telephone number should be mandatory. For example, like Boxman, if I only mention Boxman, it will not be accepted. It will be straight away rejected. I have to mention my full company name, that is Boxman Global Forwarding and Logistics LLC. This is the full company name. So this is what we have to mention. The first name will not be. If you still mention the first name, there are highly chances that your MPCI will reject it, and you have to, wait. Your container will not be loaded. And one more important thing: if the importer is blacklisted, your cargo will not be loaded. So MPCI and the UAE authorities is maintaining a record with them that who are the importers who are blacklisted by the UAE authorities. They will not import now because prior they have seen that there are still blacklisted companies. They are still importing, but from now onwards they will not be able to move any cargo because the real-time data will be shared by the authorities and they will check, is it okay to proceed or is it not okay to proceed. That's it from my side. Let's conclude what changes. So this will be starting from 1st of September. The cargo must be reported before the loading. What Boxman does, we do everything. Like you all know, we guys do from courier to container. We do everything. So we will be taking care of your paperwork. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. My email ID is mentioned here. And what you need to do, you need to do the correct documentation. You need to update your shipper to provide the accurate detail at the time of collection. If the shipper is not providing the accurate detail, you have to force them or you have to ask them to share the details with you. You can share it with us. We can advise you is the details or the documents are okay to proceed or not. So that's it from my side. I would we are open for questions. So I would hand over the to Lakwin.
Yeah, it's sorry, Deepak, just one more point I want to add here, which I think we have not discussed in this presentation. This MPCI process also applies for transshipment. So if anybody is involved in doing transshipments via UAE, so anything that touches UAE ports, MPCI will apply. So same process, but it's for both import into UAE and also transshipment through UAE.
For mentioning it. Yeah, it applies to containerized shipment, but it's transiting. So if I have a shipment from China to let's say to USA, but it's transiting through UAE, Jebel Ali port. So it's mandatory for the shipper to provide the MPCI. So whether the consignee is in UAE, whether the consignee is USA, if it's transiting from UAE, it's mandatory. So thanks, Ajit, for highlighting. We would like to ask everybody to ask question and over to Lakman.
Yeah, Deepak, we have one question. So, uh, please repeat where this is excluding. I think she wants to know in which situation this MPCI will be excluded. So in like this is so required for sea freight. So maybe you can explain if there's any exclusion, so everything is included, something like that, maybe in detail. Maybe Sajid or Deepak, any of you can answer. And AR also.
No, so Helen, if I get your question right, there is nothing excluded in this. All the container cargo that's arriving has to be filed. So yeah, there's no exclusion. And for air, like I said, it's already happening in the background. There is no new requirement for air. We just mentioned about it to kind of give you assurance that there is no major like requirement or changes that's happening even for sea. It's already happening for air. Similarly, it will be for sea. So that was just to give you assurance. As you have seen, the details that are required are the complete importer details, complete goods details, which I believe most of you who are on this call are working with genuine brands and businesses. So you are already having this information upfront when you are booking the shipments, and you are providing this information to us already. So I don't see any reason why we need to worry. This is for somebody who is not into legitimate or genuine business has to worry about this process. Also, the companies who have been blacklisted have to worry about this process, but not the genuine compliant businesses. We are already following this process. It's just that we have to take one extra step or effort of filing it online and making it visible to the authorities. That's the only additional step that's been introduced with this new implementation.
So everyone in the call, you will get the recording as well. We will send you a one-pager, a description of what we discussed as well, just to summarize everything for you. And also, if you have any questions, you can reach out to Deepak. You can see the email on the screen, d.khan@boxmanglobal.com. Maybe you already know Deepak, so you can even WhatsApp him if you have the number. So yeah, otherwise you can reach out to our hotline as well. If there's any questions, we'll be there to support you. And once again, thank you so much for everyone who joined on this beautiful Friday. And I wish you all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.